the biggest thing with the Lightning, that's not an unheard of policy. And so what it was is the state has amusement park regulations that go down through the track. In fact, the siren that was going off that you could hear if you watched the broadcast, not even controlled by the facility. I thought for a minute maybe it was just someone up in the front office, but it's not. Someone controlled in the region that controls when they have to shut down and when they're allowed to kind of get back under operating again. It hurt everybody. They had a NASA Spec Miata race on one of their car tracks. They had the extreme experience with sports cars, high-performance sports car rentals on the other car track, and then obviously us on the go-kart track. A typical policy is no different than a swimming pool for any go-kart track and any racetrack. NASCAR had the same deal with Daytona rain and weather and has gone through that a bunch of times this year too. IndyCar, same thing. Some tracks are 5 miles, some tracks are 10, but anytime they see a lightning strike within 5 or 10 miles, they'll want to shut down, do a 30-minute clock, come back when that clock is over with no lightning strikes within it. Now, this one was weird because we'd have strikes and then we get that all clear warning 10 minutes later. The way the insurance goes, which is something that I'd love to have Joe Janowski on from NK to kind of explain that a little more. From my understanding, a loose understanding with all the general insurance policies is if it's not like, when you get your insurance coverage that there's a rule about lightning, just like there's a rule about letting someone go up in an early age group. It's basically if you say you have a rule and then you disregard that rule, then you get into trouble and then you can kind of get, the policy backer to want to back out on you. But the track is from when I talked to Joe at the end of the weekend, the track's working on trying to maybe get an exemption or kind of like a responsibility or like fair use policy where they can override when needed, because where we had it on Sunday, Brandon, too, we were dry for like so much of that afternoon when we were under lightning delay, and it was just sitting 7 miles away, 6 miles away, 5 miles away. When it got to a mile or two away, I think that's fair. But we've even had races in Homestead and Orlando, and I'm sure you've had races growing up where there's storms like nearby, and then we kind of say, all right, they're not coming, we can get in,
Yeah, it was definitely one of the unfortunate things because you could see on the radar that it was just like sitting over in the field across from us, like right on the other side of the airport, and it just wasn't coming near us, but we were still on delay for no reason at all. But I will say the one thing is the Stars crew, there was nothing they could do like the whole weekend, but they handled it the best they could. And I actually, not that I like that we were on delay most of the time, but it kind of played out good that only really 2 classes the whole weekend had to go out in wet weather conditions. Other than that, everything was pretty much dry.
They worked with the track. The track tried to work with them as much as possible because those lightning delays initially, when it first started coming on Friday, we were set up with a tent right next to the track fence, but on the pit side. And we were told we were too close to the racetrack and they wanted to back us up and away. And then by the end of the weekend, not only was the track staff allowing a few Stars officials to get out there to do track drying during the lightning delay, they made sure to let us get out there to get our camera equipment. So even on the track itself, they have some weird policies with the facility, and that's going to happen when we go to somewhere bigger than a normal go-kart track where we've got a country club there, we've got car tracks. There's going to be upper management, and there's going to be more people than just a go-kart track a karting fan and karting fanatic that's just the owner of a property. We're going to have a bigger business to deal with and some extra hoops to jump through. But the track did what they could by Sunday. The unfortunate part is, in a way, kind of competing to, or at least on the ticket to get the potential third and final date on the Stars season for next year. They're going back to GoPro. That's a no-brainer. Going back to Newcastle Motorsports Park, no-brainer. The Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati has been good to them over the years they've ran there, and they were the first series to kind of try that one out with Sean Bailiff from the TKG group last year. They're going, and so to go back again there later this year in October, they're locked in to do it again. And Sean and the Bailiff family and everyone at MCC, they've still got more that they're going to be expanding and working on plans wise to improve on that facility, which is cool. But that last date, could have gone to Jersey's way had this weekend gone good. The sad part is that even if the track gets the exemption to kind of work around the lightning, work with the series and, events they have a little bit better, even people listen to this podcast or stuff or call Stars and ask about it, getting shut out from that much track time. The series could be as good as it wants to be. They could put out as good promo as it wants to be, but the way the weekend went kind of blows the track's reputation, I'd say, for a couple of years. I mean, I don't know how your customers came out, Brandon, but you had a wide few. I'd imagine the consensus was like, we like the facility. We like coming here. We would have liked coming here, but this weekend kind of sucked for seat time, What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, all my customers were very understanding about the situation, how there was not really anything the series could do. But I mean, other than that, they were definitely frustrated with being on delay and not getting as much seat time. But like I said, they just kind of dealt with it and went along with it. Everyone said they really liked the track. The facility was really nice. It was just all the rules that we had to and hoops we had to jump through were kind of frustrating. All in all, I still think it's a really good track and facility. It's just it's going to be hard for them to get the date back for next year.